The late Dr. Shirley Glass, who is one of the world's leading experts in infidelity, wrote a book called Not Just Friends, in which she introduced a concept called walls and windows that I think is a game changer for relationships. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to break this down for you so you can understand how the concept of windows and walls can help you create a relationship where infidelity is not going to be an issue for you. Before we do, if you've not already downloaded our free guide to intimacy, that will help you with infidelity as well. Not to help you do infidelity, but help you avoid infidelity. But it'll help you connect in a relationship. It evaluates 4 areas of relationship: intimacy, emotional, recreational, spiritual, physical, and help you maintain a connection in the relationship, which will also help prevent infidelity. So let's talk about infidelity. So if you know anything about me and you've watched any of the videos, you know I am a sucker for simple, practical, and effective tools that can help a stronger relationship. And I believe that Dr. Glass's idea of windows and walls is just that thing. So I want to help you understand it to help your relationship. So basically what she says is that you want to build walls around your relationship to protect your relationship, and you want windows between the two of you to maintain connection and openness and honesty. So what are the building the walls around the relationship? It's simply, what are the boundaries, what are the guards, what are the protection that you have to make sure that outside forces are not negatively impacting your relationship. She believes that we should, and I believe too, that we should keep and guard and protect our deepest emotional and physical connections for our marriages or for our committed relationships, and not let other people have access to them. Those are the walls. Do you have boundaries in your relationship that protects the two of you? Have you talked about and had discussions around relational expectations to protect and guard the two of you? Do you have expectations around friends of the opposite sex, around the use of social media? You need walls around you to help protect your relationship from the outside world. If you do not, then basically anybody who wants access to you or your relationship at any time can come waltzing right in because you have not set up walls around the relationship. She also says that what oftentimes happens, if we're not guarding that, we begin opening up windows in our outside relationships. And she found that many of our modern affairs are occurring in the workplace because you have men and women that are working hand in hand together. And pretty soon you start creating connections. And if at some point you start having conversations with the other person at a deeper than just surface level, those connections can begin to lead other places. And this isn't just for unhappy couples. She also found that many happy couples who were enjoying their relationship but were not paying attention to where windows were being opened to outside relationship found themselves connected and stepping into an affair, especially if those outside relationships are kept secret from your partner or spouse. Then those open windows become open doors and you soon step through them into a relationship. So we've got to understand that what we want to have is walls to protect our relationship and windows inside the relationship so that we can maintain our connection. If you have not had expectations around that, if you've not talked about that in a relationship, if you don't have any of those boundaries and walls personally, then you are apt to find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. Listen, I don't want everybody to have access to me at all times whenever they want. For the most part, I think most of my life, I'm going to not be susceptible to the outside attention. But what if I find myself in a place of weakness? I don't want anybody to even have access to me during those times. So based on this concept of walls and windows, what should we be doing? Just let me give you 2 thoughts. Number 1, we need to be building and destroying walls on a regular basis. What are you doing to build walls around your relationship? As I said before, have you and your partner had talks about what the expectations are? How do we want to guard our relationship? How does that pertain to our use of social media? Whether we believe opposite sex friends are okay, and if so, Do we have any regulations or any walls around that? Are there certain types of opposite sex friends we don't want to have in each other's lives? How often should we be communicating or spending time with them? What's the level of conversations we should be having with them? What are our boundaries around some of those things? What should we be doing on social media and not be doing on social media? All of those provide walls for our relationship to help guard it. But if we're not paying attention, it's easy for walls to build up between the two of us, right? If there's secrecy, if there's ongoing resentment, if there's unresolved conflict in the relationship, we can begin to unknowingly have walls being built up between us and our partner in the relationship. So not only do we need to be aware of building walls outside to protect us, but we also have to have some consistency and intentionality in saying, are there walls growing between the two of us? When one of us starts feeling disconnected, how are we having conversations around that? When one of us is hurt, how are we offering forgiveness and reconciling the relationship? How are we repairing when there's been damage done in the relationship? All of those things can become walls. And if we're not paying attention and there's a wall in our relationship, we're certainly going to be turning outside for some of the interactions that we desire in the relationship. So we've got to both build walls around our relationship, and we've got to destroy the walls that may be building up between us. Now, what do we do when it comes to windows? I would say two things. We need to be cleaning our windows, and we need to be closing the blinds. Right? If I want to maintain a healthy connection and relationship inside my marriage or inside my committed relationship, I've got to consistently clean that window, make sure I can see them and they can see me, make sure there's transparency and honesty there, there's good communication. Maybe I just need to open the window all the way up so I don't have to clean it. But what are we doing regularly to make sure that we feel heard, seen, and understood in a relationship? Are we having date nights? Are we having intentional times of connection? Are we making sure we're repairing when there's been hurt or disappointment? What are we doing on a regular basis to make sure that the window inside of our relationship is clear, clean, and open? And on top of that, when we end up having windows outside of our relationship where there should be walls and we recognize it, listen, don't slow play it. Don't slowly close the window. Don't leave the window there and just say, I won't look out the window. I won't have those conversations. Say it with me. Close the blinds. Yeah, close the curtains. Shut it down. You do not need to have an open window with Kim at work. You don't need to have a clear window and opportunity for a conversation with Kevin at work, because he's got a great listening ear and he's a great place to bounce ideas off of. Yeah, dude, he's gonna tickle your ears on whatever you say because he's not in a real relationship with you. And then we begin comparing what we have out there with what we have in here, which is an unfair comparison of fantasy to reality. So when we notice we've got windows outside where we should have walls, we got to close the blinds. We got to shut the curtains. Do not let somebody outside be able to look inside of your house and see your laundry piled up and see the mess that you have and see the dirt that you have. Listen, you already know I'm not saying that we should be isolated. I'm a big proponent of community. I think we need other people in our lives. I don't think we should do marriage alone, but it's the right people. Take your stuff to a counselor. Take your stuff to a mentor couple, to a coach couple. Don't leave a window where the outside dude or the outside girl can look into your mess and start speaking into it and challenging you on it, and you start sharing with them. So if we've got windows where there should be walls, you need to close the blinds, shut the curtains, and you need to build a wall there. And if we've got walls where there should be windows, you need to address it. You need to resolve stuff. You need to come to compromise. You need to manage your areas of difference. Because if we're going to create a relationship that is not susceptible to an affair, we've got to have walls around our relationship, and we've got to have windows inside of our relationship, not vice versa. The moment you have a wall inside and a window outside, you're one step closer to an affair. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, I didn't get into all the steps towards an affair. I've got videos on 9 steps towards an affair. I've got videos on how to affair-proof your relationship, and I'll tag those at the end of this video. You can watch more of those. But I just wanted to address the concept of windows and walls so that you had a word picture for how to evaluate your relationship. And so I would say this week, why don't you evaluate what do your walls around the relationship look like, and do you need to fortify those? And what does the window between in your relationship look like? If a wall's there, it may be time to address it and tear it down. If you need outside help, go to a counselor to help you do it. But if you want to protect your relationship and you value your relationship, you're going to put some walls up, because anything we value, we try to keep other people out of. Love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. Like I said, if you want to see 9 steps to an affair or how to affair-proof your marriage, check these videos right at the end of this, and I'll see you next time right back here on RelationShots.